Standing in front of me was three little kids who just wanted to see their family again, wishing for nothing but a normal life. You fucked up big time. It would be impossible to describe what emotion they were feeling, but the closest word would be broken. The once beautiful green eyes with so much life had no shine to them. Autumn, no, it's not Dash. I stammered on, trying to take back everything I said just before. Is it true, Y/N? Are they all really dead? A small crack in Phil's voice, trying to not believe what I said. A long silence took place after the little blue-eyed boy stopped talking, not being able to bring myself to tell the truth. Losing my voice completely, I just nod my head up and down, looking sorrowfully at my lap, feeling guilty for not telling them. I knew it. Ray trying to keep his emotionless mask on, but his eyes and voice told me otherwise. How long have you known? Emma finally asked the question they were all thinking. A week and a half. Imminently, Ray tensed and Phil backed up, stunned by the new information. A full week and a half. Poor little Phil said in disbelief, looking at me as if I was a monster. A monster? I've been getting that a lot lately. There was another long, awkward silence before it was interrupted by a massive sob. Why, didn't you tell you? How can you not tell you? You broke out, promise, I hate you. She said, bolting out the room down to the bar. Ray following suit, just shaking his head back and forth slowly, not looking back. Sorry, but I'm going with Emma. You said we would go back for them, but you broke the promise. Phil said, trailing off as he left the room, Ray hooking an arm around his shoulders as they left. I really did fuck up. Emma's POV. How could she do this to us? She promised us we would get them back, but they're all gone. I think to myself as I sprint down the hall to the bar where my new family was. Miss Emma, what are you doing out of your RO dash? Mama Gary didn't have time to finish his sentence before I tackled him into a bone-crushing hug. Tell me it's not true, I say loudly into the mist man's stomach, muffled a bit by his clothing. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, Miss Emma, he said in a calm tone, not knowing my other two siblings entered as well until Ray spoke. She's asking if was telling the truth if all our other siblings are dead, he said in an all too serious voice, making Korajiri stiffing a little at the question, going back to normal in a second. I do not know if that is true. I can take you to the place where she came back very shocked if you would like. He said slowly so we could understand every word and to not rattle us more. Mistman is at the orphanage. Phil asked quietly, his voice about to break at any moment. Phil, it doesn't matter if it is or not. Just take us, I need to see it for myself. Ray butted impatiently, wanting to see the truth as much as me. A purple mist portal formed. Kurojiri walked through telling us to follow. This is as far as I go, but please be careful, young ones. I will wait here for when you return. Three of us stood beside each other, staring up at the large sign, saying the name of the terrible place. Grabbing both of their hands, Ray on my left and Phil on my right, we start the walk to the building of horrors. It was quiet. Almost no sound could be heard other than the wind hustling through the trees and the occasional cricket sound. The air felt heavy and hard to breathe, cold to inhale, and came out warm as I exhaled, making a thin puff of steam. The small cloud-like shape brought me back to when we were still stuck with everyone else, a happy memory I would never forget. Flashback. It was the midwinter, snow falling and the chilly wind what would pass every so often. Mother let us play in the snow for today, saying it was good for us to get fresh air, but in reality she just wanted us away from her. Some of my siblings were building a snowman, rolling chunks of snow to make them bigger. Others were laying in the snow, moving their arms and legs to make small snow angels. Me. I was sitting under a big tree in my long green jacket made for fall, but was the only thing warm enough to be outside in. The weather was so cold that it almost hurt to breathe in the air, my lungs freezing with every breath. Hey, Green Bean, what you doing here all alone? You should be playing with the others. I looked up from my lap to be met with my big sis face smiling brightly, poking my cheek in a playful manner. It's too cold to be doing that. Look, you can see my breath. I exhale an extra big breath, making the cloud more visible to her, trying to prove my point. Haha, if you wanted to take your mind off the cold, you could have just said so. She said in her normal bubbly tone, trying to bring up my mood. How are you going to make me forget about the cold? It feels like I'm breathing in ice. I count her back, stating there is no way she can make me think differently. She sucked in an extra large amount of air, holding it there for a second before letting a massive puff do white. Sure, it might be freezing, but I like to think about the cold after. I feel like a powerful fire-breathing dragon, she said, flapping her arms up and down like wings, just like a dragon would to fly. A smile grew on my face as I thought about it more. It really was cool. Thinking of a way to use this to get my mind off the cold, I sat up, stretching my arms out to the side like a dragon wings. I moved my arms in a flapping motion, skipping a bit in the snow, and I let out a bunch of warm air, making a large cloud. Roar. I'm a big, scary dragon, fear me. I fly over to and getting a quiet squeal from her as she started to run. No, please, scary dragon, don't eat me. I'm too beautiful to die, she said, not playing the part all too well, laughing as she ran away from me. It was like that for 5 minutes, and I could tell Y/N was getting tired from running. It was my chance to get her. I sped up right on her tail, ready to jump to get her when my face was met with a cold, solid object. I'll save you, big sis. Your night is here. I'm a big, scary dragon, fear me. I fly over to and getting a quiet squeal from her as she started to run. No, please, scary dragon, don't eat me. I'm too beautiful to die, she said, not playing the part all too well, laughing as she ran away from me. It was like that for 5 minutes, and I could tell Y/N was getting tired from running. It was my chance to get her. I sped up right on her tail, ready to jump to get her when my face was met with a cold, solid object. I'll save you, big sis. Your night is here, Ray declared as he held a big snowball in his hand, ready to attack at any moment. One way or another, the whole dragon case was over, and it turned into a massive snowball fight between all of the siblings, every kid for themselves. The day was coming to an end as everyone was starting to go inside to warm up, but not when she stayed laying down in the snow staring up at the sky. I go over to her to tell her it was time to go inside and warm up. Oi, big sis, when it's time to G-dash. I don't get to finish before I was met with the cold, hard surface of the ground. She had grabbed my ankle to flip me onto the ground. How mean. She was laughing hysterically at me as I whipped the cold snow off my face. You're mean a bit, sis. I pout and look away, a little mad about the fact my face was more cold than before. Don't be like that, Emma. It was only a joke. So how did my trick work for you? She asked with a soft smile on her face as she continued to look at the sky as I laid back down on the ground to do the same. It was super stupid, but it worked really well, so you get a point for this one, I say, giggling at her childless. Our fit of giggles turned into a laughing contest. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. We only stopped when we were called again to come inside to warm up and eat dinner. Present time. I let a light smile form on my face before turning it to a bitter frown. I couldn't trust the one person who has stuck beside me for how long as I can remember. She lied to us. She kept telling us we would find them and bring them back, but it will never happen now. Unless it wasn't true and they were all alive. Let's hope so. I was pulled out of my thoughts when I felt a force pull back my right side. A thump was heard from my left. I was about to ask what was wrong until I looked up to a horrendous sight. The orphanage, the place we lived for so long, our home, was all ashes. It was like, said, it was burnt down to the ground. Even if the place was burnt down, our sibling could have escaped and ran away like us. They could still be alive. Searching more closely, I see a slight pop of color, catching my attention immediately. I slowly make my way to the pile of color before freezing solid in my place. Not even a second later, I bend over looking to the side to hurl up everything I ate for dinner. Ray coming over to see what made me throw up and to see if I was okay. The second he laid eyes on the scorched bones, he did the same thing, throwing up everything he ate. Phil started to come over before I shouted at him. He is too young to see this. Having to witness Big Sis being raped was already way too much for him to have seen. Stay back, Phil. Man was right, they really are gone. He got the message not to come closer, but that did not stop him from breaking down in tears. We all sat there for hours, nothing being said, just hiccuping, crying, and mumbling as we sat on the burned wooden flooring. Ray was the first to stop crying, just sitting there speechless, waiting for us to stop. Once I had finally calmed down was when I spoke. Let's get G going, Gary is waiting for us. We stood up and saw that Phil had lost consciousness from crying too hard. Poor thing. I picked him up, carrying him on my back to where we arrived here. Like he said, Jerry was standing not too far away from where he was when we first got here. He didn't get a chance to speak before I said the only thing needed. Please take us home. Thanks for watching my video. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss anything I post.